So today, like every other day, I'm gonna be fishing plastics and jigs. Just got this little Texas rig on there, but anyway, I wanted to take a break from that and tell you guys about what's in my jig box. Plano A-Series tackle backpack, first generation. I've had this for a long time. It's been through hell. It's literally worn out from the sun, as you can see. I've already done, I think, 3-4 videos on this. It is a little torn up on the bottom, but other than that, it still is in pretty good condition. But anyway, the contents of today's video, the main part, is right here. What is in this jig box? Because I've talked about my jig setup, the way I like to fish a jig. I've done a jig demonstration, and I've caught tons of fish with the jig and a Texas rig this year. So my jig box, it's not just jigs, but it's other stuff I'm going to be fishing. You'll see, you know, your jigs, hooks, weights. But another thing that I used to keep in here that I really don't anymore is tubes, and that was for smallmouth bass. But like I have told you guys in the past, I do use 3 main colors. That is green pumpkin, black and blue, cowboy craw. Now about the size. See this 1/4 ounce finesse jig? It's pretty worn out from fish. That is the finesse jig that I like. I do have it in all 3 colors. Now the trailer selection, I usually match the colors of the trailer to the bait. You get what I'm saying? But I have been taking, like, this is a natural, okay, that's a Guggen. This one here, this is a Strike King, a Falcon Lake craw. See, you got that red and brown with that green pumpkin. That's a 5/16. It's a little bit bigger than a 1/4 ounce, but it's still a full size. This is a finesse jig, this is a regular jig. I am starting to like the 5/16 jigs. I do use 3/8. I do have 3/8, but 3/8 is the biggest that I will go right now. 1/2 ounce I will do later in the year, and especially fall fishing, but you have that. Then, like I said, 5/16 black and blue with a craw, 1/4 ounce with a craw. I've caught a lot of fish in the 1/4 ounce, and I've actually also caught a few on the 5/16. Now, the cowboy craw in the 5/16, you will see that it is, like I said, cowboy craw with a Texas craw. You see that color? Here, let's get this jig out instead. See that color? You see how it's got that kind of red, orangish, and brown? That's amazing for largemouth and smallmouth bass, okay? That is a great jig. Now, here you will see a bluegill with a orange craw, and then you will see the cowboy with the red one. Now, up here, because I always get people that ask me this question, and I've answered it many times, but the hook that I use is a Superline EWG 3/0, okay? So let's see if we can actually show you the package here. Yep, I'll do a comparison. This is the difference. You do have the offset shank worm EWG 3/0, okay? That is the regular. The Superline is the same thing, except it's a Superline. So it's a Superline EWG. There you go. This is the hook. And then the weight is the 1/4 ounce tungsten by Strike King. That is the weight that I use for a lot of things. I mean, I throw a tube with a 1/4 ounce, a Texas rig with a 1/4 ounce, a drop shot with a 3/8, a Texas rig with a 3/8 once in a while, not very often. But like I said, jigs and Texas rigs. For the color selection, like I said, something else that I kind of moved for a second. Something I want to tell you guys, like, that I want to go more into that I haven't described or I haven't talked to you about in the past videos that I know, and I know very well. I just haven't included it. When I trim the skirt on a jig, what I do, you can't tell because of the way this one is. Maybe I can show you on this one. What I do is I'll put the trailer on there, on the jig, and I will cut right here in front of the trailer and in the back of the trailer, and I will leave the sides, and that profile seems to work really good. Now you'll see on the weed guard, on these juicy jigs here, let's grab a different one for a little bit of variation. Got the good stuff here. If you take your weed guard, okay, when you bend it, you see how it goes to the barb on the hook? Get that blue strand out of there. You see how it goes there? That's where I want it. So if I get a jig by Strike King, by the way, those are amazing jigs. I love them, use them a lot, especially the football jigs. If the weed guard is past the barb, I will cut it to the barb. This is as long as I want a weed guard. Now I do have 3/8 bigger jigs that I fished with and caught fish with this year, where I trimmed it even with the hook. I don't really notice that much of a difference. I do trim the skirt, I do change the trailers, but like I said, I like to keep it natural. I don't do a lot of crazy things. And people always ask me, with the Texas rigs. Do I peg it? No, I don't peg it. I've said this many times, I'll say it again. Why? Because when you're fishing that plastic, or excuse me, that weight is gonna go down first and the plastic is gonna follow the weight. Those fish love that. Now, another thing, where is it? Another thing that I like to do, here, let's get a green pumpkin one. Another thing that I like to do with these jigs, I'm gonna kind of try to explain this, and I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, I apologize. But when you put your trailer on there, you have your keeper for the jig right here. Well, I like to make sure that that keeper is in the plastic. I'm gonna have to take one of these apart or show you guys. You know what, I'll do it with this bluegill. Here's what I'm trying to show you, okay? Now, people are gonna ask me, what is more effective? What catches more fish, a jig or a plastic? I don't have a choice. I catch big fish on jigs, you know, as they always talk about, and I catch big fish on plastics. If I had to pick one, I'd pick either. I mean, but I'll pick a plastic just because, like a rage craw, a bandito bug, a rodent, those are always some of my favorites. But anyway, see that weed guard right there? I like to have that weed guard in the plastic. And by the way, when you bend it on a finesse jig like this, see how it's soft? It's not too hard. That's not going to hurt that jig. That's going to be fine. Got the good stuff in here. By the way, you do have the sinker stops that are all tangled up. And you guys got to do me a favor. Make sure to check the description for fishing channels, bass fishing videos, and bass fishing playlists that I created. Now, a lot of the videos in the description that you'll see is personal best largemouth, personal best smallmouth, finesse fishing, fishing up north, upper peninsula, you name it. That is the stuff in the jig box. Close it up. I mean, I'm fishing the jigs and the Texas rigs with a high-speed reel, Corrado K, 7.4 Corrado rod, 20-pound fluorocarbon. Actually, this is 25, but that's okay. Now, the plastic selection for trailers and Texas rigs, this is the part that gets really interesting because, like, I do two things now. I'll take a bag of Guggen plastics or a bag of Strike King and BPS plastics. And one of the best plastics ever, the Rage Craw, that's going to be, well, that's one of the things that I'll be fishing with today. And I actually had a dirty craw tied on earlier. Is this it right here? You see that dirty craw? That is a very good color. And I keep telling you guys about the green pumpkin with purple flake. Now, the little bait that I threw on, it's kind of like a brush hog. It's the BPS crack craw. It is a 4.5 inch. Green pumpkin is the color. Now, I do like how dark the green pumpkin is. Well, no, excuse me. I do like how dark the flake is. This is actually a lighter green pumpkin than a Zoom would be. But like I said, today I did put the Strike King baits in there, and then see that rodent? That's an amazing bait. But anyway, yeah, like I said, Rage Craws, BPS plastics, these are all ways I will fish Texas rigs and jigs. You guys know that I do love crankbaits, jerkbaits. I do like topwater, especially spooks and ploppers, but I mean, a jig and a Texas rig are my favorite ways to fish. They're my favorite ways to catch fish, okay? Right here. This is gonna be the meat and potatoes of my fishing this year. And another thing, I've had people ask me, or people say to me, you know, they love the videos, but it's time to fish somewhere different. All of the fishing videos this year, I have at least 20 just in the month of April. They've been from the same lake. It's a 1,200 acre lake. It's highly pressured. In 2018, this lake had the most tournaments, I think, out of any lake or something like that in the state of Michigan. It's not a pond, it's not stocked. It can be very difficult to catch fish. So anyway, just want to let you guys know that I'm not just fishing some stock area. I don't even do a lot of pond fishing. It's public lakes, Great Lakes, and tackle videos. That is my channel. But anyway, if you have any questions about the Rage Craws, the plastics, the BPS, or any of the jigs in the box, like I said, the 5/16 jigs, it is the juicy jig, and the finesse is the little juicy jig. You got those jigs, the hooks, the weights, the rod, the reel, the plastics. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.